Guys, if you're following along on the Friday videos, you realize we took a bit of a beating last week, right? And the only good thing about taking a bit of a beating is we also learn a bit of a lesson. So here's your Tuesday morning tech tip from Pugliese Speed Shop. Guys, if you have learned anything from this whole series on the Cadillac, I think the biggest lesson is I don't like working on this Cadillac. And I'm going to tell you the God's honest truth, I don't know anybody that does. All right? Years ago, I had a 2000 DeVille, basically the same car with some extra doors and like a different grill, right? Drivetrain wise, identical. We had a problem right after I bought the car. Guys, don't buy cars online, like sight unseen, because that's yeah. So I bought it out of Florida and had it shipped to California when I was stationed out there. It shows up, it's beautiful, just like the picture. I mean, gorgeous, right? Problem was, um, there was two big problems. One of them was there was some traction control switch, right? There was no light on the dash, but it was stored in the computer. Won't pass California smog. $22 part cost me almost $1,000. They had to pull the engine had to come up and back and all. The whole front axle or whatever that's transaxle and everything had to come out, guys. It was ridiculous, right? And I got that fixed just so I could pass smog and put tags on the car. And after that happened, winter rolled around. And when that happened, so we're up in the high desert. It gets cold, all right? It's not like your typical San Diego weather, right? So whenever you put the heat on, because it had that dual climate control crap, which, if you notice, the Camry and the Tundra, we made sure we don't have that stuff because, yeah, I got certain feelings about that. The heat worked on the right side of the car, but the AC would only turn on the left side. So the driver would freeze. Awesome. Thanks, Caddy. So these were problems, and I brought it in, and I was willing to pay through the nose to get it fixed, and nobody would touch it. It was that much of a pain in the ass. The guy actually told me, he's like, man, you know what? If my business was slow and I had to pay the bills and that was the only way to do it, maybe I'd take it on. I don't want to deal with it. And of course, the Cadillac dealer would do it, but I think I had to take out 6 mortgages and like give up the kid, to get it done. So we traded it in on another Cadillac because I'm that stupid. But so these, yeah, nobody likes working on them. And, well, you guys should understand why. If you don't by now, go rewatch the videos, all right? But there's a couple things that I can do better. And to make things a little easier, I'm going to share them with you. All right, guys, obviously this is like not the wrap-up video that I was hoping it'd be because it's still on jack stands behind me, right? But we're closer than we've been all day. You know what I'm saying? Actually, we're closer than we've been throughout this entire process. Well, at least we think so, because every time we turn around, we find something else, right? This last video, we thought we just finished putting the brakes in, and then now we're finding like the sway bar links that are, well, in pieces. Not a huge problem, but just like another minor setback, right? So it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and unfortunately, guys, that's the way it is with a lot of like this era vehicle. Not just the caddies. I mean, yeah, the caddies are a pain in the ass, but they all were, right? This is when they kind of went like, and it started in like the mid '80s when they started with the computer stuff like that stuff we had on the Delta '88, right? Where the dealers were pretty much trying to rein in all the business for themselves and kind of just do away with the mom and pop shops. And then as time goes on, more computer stuff, more specialized equipment to test stuff, more specialized tools to remove and reinstall things, and you end up with stuff that nobody wants to work on. And why did I buy another one? I don't know. Like I said before, we like what we like, right? So me and Megan love this Cadillac SRX. We went and bought it. It was great until it wasn't. You know, the transmissions were junk. By that time, they fixed the North Star head bolt problem, but the transmissions were falling out of them. So, well, we fixed that at a Toyota dealership, right? And before you think I'm like, you know, oh man, you're supposed to be like, you know, go America. Yeah, her car is made in Kentucky, and this thing was made in Mexico. So, you know, you can slice that however you want. Be that as it may, there's ways that you can maintain these vehicles and your sanity, and still have a reliable car, right? And actually, guys, it's the same for anything. We let things just get out of control on this. I mean, the brakes, I tried. I absolutely did. I guess I could have just kept throwing money at problems and maybe that would have fixed. I don't know. But you know, at a certain time, am I going to put $2,000 brake lines in a $1,500 car? Probably not. That's not smart baseball. So what did we do? We made it work, and that's kind of what hot rodding's all about. But then we started letting other, you know, well, we call them, like, you know, you guys know I'm an aircraft mechanic by trade. We call them up gripes, right? Like, it's a discrepancy, but you can still fly the plane. We'll fix it when it comes in a phase inspection, you know, every like 200 hours, and then like it's down in the hangar for a while so you can fix it. When you got a daily driver, that's a bad call because it's never going to have that kind of time that you can put it down and, you know, just keep working. Unless you got another spare vehicle. Luckily, Andrew's got the Jeep up there, so we're doing that. But like, when I put that coolant reservoir in and it sucked from the second I put it in, I should have pulled it right back out. Because we're like, we know it's full, don't worry about it. And then what happens? It's not full. We found it out when we pulled it apart. That leak, we knew it was leaking oil for a while. We threw some stop leak in it. It didn't work. Jay believes, and he's probably not 100% wrong, that valve cover gasket just kept dumping oil on that alternator until it didn't work no more. That alternator had more oil on it than the inside of this motor. So he might be onto something. And if we fixed that leak, maybe we wouldn't have had to fix that alternator. Who knows, right? And we just kept finding that stuff as we're going along. So if we fixed one thing, maybe we could have stopped a couple others from breaking. You never know. You know, it's speculation, but probably a pretty good idea. So there's more to come on this. I promise you that. Just because right after this, I'm about to put these brake lines in. Speaking of brake lines, there's one way that you can not work as much. And that's, don't make stupid mistakes, right? When I was making the lines, well, when I was shortening the lines to put where I wanted to put them, every time I looked down at that box of fittings, I said, don't forget to put that fitting on. Don't forget to put that fitting on. You guys remember what happened? Yeah, I'll show you. So I didn't record the first one I did, right? I want to make sure. I haven't used this thing in like, I don't know, a year or two. So I want to make sure I knew what I was doing, right? So I watched the video, you know, made sure the setup was all good. And guys, this tool from Eastwood is awesome. I'm going to tell you what, it makes the perfect, just a double flare every single time. However, you guys see what's wrong, right? Come on, you can see it. No, they're over here. Safe and sound are the fittings still in the box instead of where they need to be. I looked at them a million times and said, I got to make sure I don't do that. But, you know, in my defense, Eastwood didn't remind me to not be an idiot in their video. So we got some beginner shit on here, but I kept this a little bit long just in case I screwed it up. So guess I know me better than I think I do. Take two. So obviously that's what happened. And then we had this mistake. So I could put it back on. I keep this on my workbench right here because it's like a permanent reminder. Don't do dumb things. Well, we fixed that problem, right? And the lines are right here. We got a little spaghetti action. Hold up. There we go. Good to go. We got the fitting. And yeah, they're both nice. Like I said, I'm about to throw them on. But I think one reason that happened also is, guys, I was beat down. I was just out of it, and I was pushing myself to work on this car, which, you know, I really don't want to do in the first place. And now here I am not feeling the best and just overexhausting myself. So don't work when you're like that. I mean, unless you're like stuck on the side of the road, you don't got, there's no choice. Then okay, got it. This car ain't going nowhere right now. It's clearly still here, right? We got other stuff to drive. That's a reason you have extra vehicles. Well, that, and hopefully some of them are pretty cool. But if I would have just stopped a little earlier, maybe I would have made that mistake. When I made that mistake, actually I didn't stop. I kept going there just to get a good stopping point, and I knew I was done. I didn't try to put these lines in. And actually, when Jay came over that Tuesday, he was like, hey, let's get this thing done. I'm tired of seeing it. I was like, bro, I'm with you, but I don't want to work on it. And instead, we worked on the Ford. We actually got some good stuff accomplished, and I feel we would have wasted time on this one. So I stand by my decision. Well, I'm going to get back to work on this, and we'll see if I stand by that decision. You guys will find out next Tuesday. Thanks for watching, guys.